I thank you all for making time out of your schedule and attending this webinar. What is going to happen is that the session is being recorded, and so we'll make that available on our social media channels. Okay, so you can watch it over, download it, or whatever. Okay, so I can see some people are requesting to record. We are doing that here, and we'll make them readily available. The next thing is that there's going to be question and answer session. Okay, getting to the tail end. So stick with me, okay? Stick with me to that end, and let's see what we can do. Now, there is also another session that is that my uh my organization is seeking to also put up. That is going to be about all the other courses that we have. But currently, what we are looking at, what we want to explain to people is a Revit structure um program. Okay, so that is one other thing I wanted to mention. And so, if today is your first time of um, attending Card Royale's workshop or webinar, or I mean, some of these introductory webinars, or this is the first time you're hearing us, let us know in the comment box or in the chat box where you are joining us from. We want to know because we have the feeling we are having people all over the country. So let's make this meeting interactive. Okay, let's make it interactive. Chat. Let's make the chat side. The comment. Let's make the comment section of the chat session very active. Okay, and we are really ready to roll out. Um, Great. Let me see if okay. So I'm coming to you live from Cab Royal's office at Kokomemle. We are located at number 4 Hill Street or number 8 Okan Odibayo Street. We are not too far from the ATTC school, between ATTC and Top FM. We are along that line. I'm sure you all have our location. If you want to know where we are, um, the the training manager is also on the event. Like it's also joined. And so I'm sure she'll be putting our location also there so that it will make it easy for you to reach out to us. Okay. So once again, we are so grateful for your time. Without wasting much time, we want to move straight up the into today's session. The theme is how to master Revit structure for real world projects. A lot of people spend quite a considerable amount of time going all over, round, just trying to master software. Okay, and it is not a bad move. Okay, it is not a very bad idea. The only challenge is that it will take you quite a long time because, in fact, we all post content on YouTube. Okay, when you go to our YouTube channel, Cab Royale, you find a lot of videos there. In fact, I entreat all of you to go there and then subscribe to our channel so that as we put more content there, you get a notification. Click on the notification bell, and that can also help you to get new recordings or like each time we update or we put new recordings there, you have it. So as I was saying, when you go to our social media channels, there are contents there, but they are not coordinated. Do you get it? If you say you're going to go through all that, things that it can take you about 1 month or even 2 weeks to do, it will take you quite a considerable amount of time because you want to learn it on your own. If you rely on friends, they will teach you what they know, and they will never teach you beyond what you make what will make you equal to them. For us, we are not in competition with anybody. And so we'll teach you everything. Okay. For us, our goal is to teach you everything. So for us, we are teaching you all that you need, all that the industry expect from you. We are also employers. We employ CAD technicians, we employ engineers, we have architects in our midst. And so we know what the industry demands from you. So we'll teach you everything so that by the time you finish the training, you are very ready to function in your capacity as an engineer or a CAD technician or any other area. In fact, we even have hobbies, people who are not coming into it. Don't worry, this whole program will also help you. Okay. So let's jump in and start our webinar. So before I move on, I want to tell you a bit about, I want to tell you a bit about Cab Royale Limited. Okay. So Cab Royale Limited, we are skills and technology training center. We are into skills training, and then we're also a technology training center. For the technology, we are Autodesk Authorized Training Center. What it means is that we are accredited by Autodesk. Autodesk is the manufacturer of the software that we teach. So like AutoCAD, Revit, Beam 360, Maya. In fact, Autodesk is one of the world's largest software manufacturer when it comes to AEC, so architecture, engineering, in the construction industry. Okay, and we are one of the authorized training centers which are scattered globally. And so when people take training or courses from us, Autodesk gives them certificate of completion. Okay, it's the same set you would have gotten if you are taking this program anywhere in the world, South Africa, Germany, US. It's the same certificate of completion Autodesk issues to anybody that goes through training from their authorized training centers. We are also partner, local partner here for Prota software. So if you want to buy the Prota software, please contact us, Cabroyal. Or if even you go to protasoftware.com and you make inquiries, they will send your contact details to us because we are their partner here in Ghana. Okay, so contact us and we will be able to give you good deals that that you won't get from anywhere. Okay, I'm saying this because we have special arrangements for our region. Okay, so in Ghana, yeah, so in Ghana we have special price for the Ghana markets. Okay. Yeah. Though there is special one for Africa. In Ghana here, we have special arrangement for that. Those who have no idea about Prota, don't worry. It's a structural design software. Okay. So that is it about us. And also before I move on, uh, we also run weekly webinars. We have one on Wednesdays, which we call Webinar Wednesday. Okay, this one is not one of those series because we had a lot of people expressing interest in a Revit structure software. We felt we need to gather all of them and explain to them. Some might have seen it and probably click on it by impulse. Some too want to get further in, I mean, further details because sometimes when we try to reach you through the WhatsApp, we see that we are restricted. Okay, because we have thousands of people requesting information from us. Do you get it? So if we rather run a series like this, it makes the whole thing easier, and we are able to get that chance to interact together. Okay, so that is it. So we have webinar Wednesday, then we also have one for Friday we call AI Caucus that is starting from next week. And we also have one we call Sunday Express. All these ones will be starting from next week. So be joining our webinar series, one on Wednesday, Fridays, and then Sundays. Okay, and you'll be learning a lot. So I think that is all that we can say for now. When you get in, you get to know more of us. So, what is our training all about? Okay, so if you are tired of wrestling with CAD, let's say 2D CAD drawings, okay, or with the kind of errors that comes with 2D works and endless coordination headaches. So you do some work and then there are changes. One of the constant thing in drawing from experience is changes. Oh, the client will make some changes. If you're working with an architect, it's a normal thing. Okay, it's a normal thing in an architectural office. Even engineering office, it's normal. You attend site meeting today, and the moment we return, we have to make changes to the drawing. And if it is CAD, you have to go back and change all those stuff. The worst case of it is when you have to do a corresponding modification on the bending schedule. It is crazy. So if you are tired of that, then this program we are actually having is perfectly for you. If you want to discover the exact path from basic Revit structural modeling to delivering clash-free industry-ready projects that dominate your field, this is also your webinar. Okay, so I just want to do the real orientation to make sure you are at the right place. If these two things are actually dominating in your mind, then you want to have solution about that. This is your area. If also you are a civil engineering student, or let's say a CAD technician, and you are used to CAD, you've been doing structural drawings, and you want to now come in and get the real delivery or get a real understanding of what this whole thing is about, then this is actually the right platform for you. Because by the time we finish with this class or this webinar, you are going to know what you are going in for, and also if where you are in, like, and whether your investment is going to give you the right returns which you're expecting. Okay, so that is actually it. And so imagine a world where your structural design build themselves. So the best way to predict the future is to build it. Okay, the best way to get actually, and this is actually a quote that I'm that I saw somewhere that says the best way to predict the future is to build it. The best way to see that free mode or free ways of getting this whole stuff done is to enter into it, is to get into it. Because on the sideline, you hear a lot of people talking about BIM or BIM, building information modeling, and that's the way forward. And if you don't get into it, you just be an observer, you be a spectator, always watching from the sideline. But when you enter, you actually see and feel what is being cooked in the kitchen. Okay, so that is actually it. Now let's look at some short history about the drafting. The drafting profession. um I always crack this joke that the drawing board has been used since time immemorial. Okay, we've seen Tower of Babel in the Bible. We've heard of Tower of Babel in the Bible. We've heard of cities being built and all those kind of stuff. At least some sketch was designed, because it cannot be built without some drawings. Okay, the whole thing cannot be in one man's head. Look at the pyramid of Giza, the one in Egypt. Look at them. Do you think such precise infrastructure will be built without a thought, like without a sketch? I'm sure there were engineers thousands of years, 7,000 years ago, many years ago. And not only that, there are historical monuments that are also there, and they are designed with precision. If you check the curves, if you check the angles, they are perfect. Don't like Doesn't something tell you that uh there could have been some design somewhere, and the engineers and the construction team built to that design? I'm sure if there were no BIM and CAD, they might have used a drawing board, and some people might have also sat down to get actually the whole design to the point where I mean where where the design will come out and the people will implement it. Okay, so that is also one of the things. So it predates the pre-60s. The drawing board was in vogue. Okay, and those who have used the drawing board before, not the ones that you do some sketches in school. Oh, those ones are small stuff. Those days where you have your big drawing board, you have your rotary pens, you have your drawing instruments, you have your stencil. So the lettering, those ones that you type on your keyboard, previously you will use stencil to draw, to do all those writing, those lettering. Okay, we have the French curves, you have the circle plates, we have which other two? At some places you use, okay, circle plates, and when it is irregular, then the French curves comes in, and you have your this triangular scale, adjustable set square. It was those times, these were the tools, these were the technologies we were using, and it was interesting. Okay, you see, around the 50s, 57 onwards, we started seeing the springing up of technologies, because people were getting frustrated, and personal computers were not something that was fully developed. Okay, there were other tools they were using, the other systems. We call them numerical control systems, which they were using. So it kind of picks and kind of plots some things, but we're not having personal computers. So around 60s, they introduced DAC, Design Automated by Computer, and it was renamed to be CAD, Computer Aided Design or Computer Aided Drafting. Okay, and then the AutoCAD revolution came. Around 1982, Autodesk released the first version of AutoCAD called AutoCAD 1.0. Okay, and then they started developing. That was just when the first PC, personal computer, was developed. And with the advent of AutoCAD, it actually slashed the production time by over 80%. Okay, and from there, AutoCAD was born. This gives you this gives you a fair idea of
phones no mu na mo use de yɛ adwuma papa yɛde ɛkita kɛkɛ kɔɔ kwan na yɛde yɛne yɛ o start 6 o'clock.
so just a moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is roughly how a typical drawing office looks like those days. Okay, so you will have a big room with big drawing boards and the tools are there, and then you have your tracing paper, you will bend and draw for a long time. Okay, and it was interesting actually. We didn't have options. Now I tell you, if you are to be asked to go back to the drawing board, I tell you, you rather quit the job. You rather quit the drafting job because now we have tools and technologies that actually make our works interesting or our professions interesting. But this was a typical drawing office. Okay, so we group all of you in one office and then you do that work. So there's no coordination. So the moment you are done and there are changes on the work, you have to come use the blade and the hard eraser, clean everything, and then rework again. And so it was actually boring but interesting. Okay, so the biggest architectural companies were those with bigger drawing space, bigger drawing board, long T squares, and have all the drawing instruments. Okay, and it's interesting. So when it's getting darker, you bring in lights. Okay, yeah, and I can see those ones in here. So if you are drawing very big plans, then you have to lie down. I mean, when you're drawing plans of cities and like things like that. Maps of cities. You get the most experienced people you have lying on the floor with the drawing instruments and then getting the whole map done. All this thing has come to pass. Early versions of CAD, we've seen them. Now we have building information modeling. So time is actually moving on. So as time passes, you have to make sure that you also upgrade, okay, with time. Don't just focus and say that, oh, for me, I don't want to be lazy. CAD is making people lazy, so I'm still going to stick to the drawing board. Nobody is paying you for your hard work. Nobody is paying you for your hard work. All they are paying you for is for the work. Whether it was done the hard way or the smart way, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Whether it was done the hard way or the smart way, nobody cares. So go out there and get the best tool to get your work done the fastest way, the smartest way with ease. Don't stretch yourself so much to get all those things. So work smart and not hard when it comes to this industry, okay? This design space. That is what I will tell you. So if you are ready to leave the chaos of CAD behind, then you are ready here. Uh, when you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, it is not right. Okay, it is not the best of thought or idea. When you say, "Oh, okay, I will still be using CAD and expect a faster results," you only get good in the same old ways, but you don't get improved. Your improvement and your scalability is not it's not tremendous. Okay, so get that in mind. Now, this is going to be our roadmap. Okay, this is going to be our roadmap for today's class. So, we are going to first look at the pain of CAD structural drafting. If you've been okay, so those who are raising their hand, we will take the questions at the end of the presentation. Okay, but if you have some question you want to put in across, my team, they are also online and they are picking it. So please, you can put your questions there. They will respond. But when I get to the question and answer session, I will come in and then do all those ones too as well. So we are going to look at the pain of CAD structural drafting. If you are very good in CAD and you are very comfortable with that, wait till you use Revit structures for your drafting, and you see that you've been wasting a lot of your time. The same way when you are using drawing board and saying that, oh, like I'm a fast, I'm a fast drafter. I remember those days in the drafting school, there's something we call speed work. So they give you the drawings and then you draw quickly. With time, it was never the fastest person was never drawing closer to the speed of CAD. Now, CAD is also gradually moving from the same. Look, if you won't even take my word, ask architects the technology they are using now. It's BIM. So if they are using BIM, then you shouldn't be working, backwards, because that is actually going to be a main challenge for you. So we are going to look at the BIM revolution, why Revit structure is actually the niche, what everybody is actually looking for or going for. We're also going to look at Revit versus AutoCAD. Okay, we look at some of the differences. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying CAD is bad. I'm saying that there is a superior technology, because in our training center we teach both. Okay, so there'll be time that I will have to present on CAD, and I would love to do that for those who have no idea and they want to come into it. But Revit is superior, or BIM is superior. Okay, and then for the fourth roadmap, I'm going to give you my recommendation and the verdict. The fifth point, we are going to look at the three pillars of Revit structure. And then also, we're going to look at what's new in the tools from 2023 to 2026, some of the new things they bought. We won't have time to talk about all, but I'll just touch on the critical ones that pertains to Revit structure. Uh, some of you may be wondering why I'm saying 2026. 2026 Revit is already in. Okay, CAD 2026 is already in. We have our delivery already because we are an authorized training center. We even got it way before it was released in March. We got it way before, around January there. Okay. The beta version was released in December, and usually they'll bring it to us. We go through and then we give our suggestion or something. And then when those feedbacks are picked, then they will release the main one. So we're also going to look at how you can, after mastering the Revit structure, how you can even supercharge your work with plugins and automations. We're also going to look at seamless software integrations, other softwares that you can bring into it. When we have time, we'll look at live demonstration. If time doesn't permit us, we will do those live demonstration and case studies in real life when you join the class. We're also going to, then there's going to be a conclusion and then call to action. Okay. So, with all these things said and done, we are now moving into it. But before I start, I haven't introduced myself. That's me. My name is Abel Kujo. Okay. I'm a civil engineer. I'm the CEO for Cab Royale Limited. I'm the head of research for Cap Solutions LLC. When it comes to CAD and BIM, we have a combined, years of experience, over 2 decades, 2 decades and many more years. Okay, we are into CAD and BIM consulting. I'm a practicing civil engineer, professional civil engineer, and I'm also an expert in AI and AI automation. Okay, and very soon you'll be seeing some of our AI tools on the markets. And so when it comes, in fact, we're also into those technology development as well. Okay, so Cabra is also a technology company. So that's it. But because today's event is not on me, I just want you to relate with the one that you are, I mean, the one that is talking at the back. So that's why at this point, I have to, I have to introduce myself so you know. So so now let's zoom straight. So at this point, if you are really enjoying what we have started with, let me know in the comments. And then just edge me on. Just say go on. Just type go on there. Then I know you're also, you're also keenly listening to the presentation and you are really enjoying. I want today's presentation to be interactive. Okay, I want today's presentation to be very interactive with you as well. Now, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Okay, and by the end of this presentation, you will never look at drafting the same way. Okay, you never look back at drafting the same way. You're going to look at drafting with a different lens. Okay, and that is actually the main objective. Great. Now, so let's pick the first roadmap. We are talking about the pain point of structural CAD drafting. This one is um experiential. So let's discuss it. um, it is said that 2D drafting work with Revit or no with AutoCAD is error prone. Look, what we are saying here, if you are not drafting in AutoCAD, if you're not using AutoCAD to do structural drawings, you will not really understand. Hmm. Look, when you are detailing slab, and you start counting. Sometimes when you are labeling 12 number R1201 at 150 centers, and you come to the next one, you have to be observing and renaming as a bar of the same length, the same shape, the same thickness, uh, by the same name. So by the time you finish calculating, punching your calculator, look, you'll be confused. Then you say, but my last count was 100. Charlie, I think I have skipped some. So let me add 20 rods in there. If what you missed were 5 and you've added 20, that extra 15, who does it go against? It goes against the client. So our drawings were, error prone. Okay. Our drawings were error prone because we were running everything from our mind. Okay. And it is also said that to err is human. Okay. Said to err is human. So if we are really if we are prone to error, if human beings are prone to error, then we are not safe. Okay, then we are not safe. So that's the thing. Another point too is that there is fragmented coordination in CAD. When the architects finish the drawing, they give the architectural drawing to someone, to the structural engineer, that get me the structural drawing. Then they pick the same CAD architectural drawing and give it to the MEP engineer. So the mechanical, electrical, and the plumbing engineers also do that. And so there's always issue with coordination. That's why we said that the drawings are fragmented. So we have fragmented coordination. So the engineer is working without considering the structural engineer. The structural engineer is also working without considering whoever is also part of the team. So when they are done, usually you see this thing a lot on site where you see a beam crossing and probably a duct, HVAC duct also passing through. So if you're a structural engineer and then you get to the site, you see people chiseling your beam, trying to create hole and pass a pipe through. The plumbers will be doing that, the air conditioning specialists will be doing that. And it's so frustrating. So frustrating. So you always have fragmented coordination, but in beam, this thing doesn't happen. Also, drafting in CAD is time consuming, especially when you have to redraw dozens of sections and shadows. Imagine you finish your work and then your boss or the engineer goes for meeting and there's some change somewhere. Look, when even you have a fully completed slab and let's say voids are created at certain places in the drawing you are like you've already completed, and they mark it with maybe a highlighter or a pen, okay, and they mark those areas to draw. Immediately you have headache. immediately, because the adjustments you do around the void, the entire bending schedule will have to be redone again. So when that happens, what are you going to do? It's actually severe pain that you go through. Okay, so the Revit takes care of all those stuff. So in the next roadmap, we talk about the beam revolution and why the Revit structure is actually the way forward. Here, every element you have in beam is an intelligent object. The walls you see in beam are intelligent walls. If I say intelligent, they know themselves. They know that, like, they know whether they are the hosted element or they are the host. For example, a wall in Revit knows that it is the host. Windows know that it is a hosted element. So when you bring a window close to a wall, it fits. The wall accepts it as an opening and then it fits into it. You get it? It is not some lines you are drawing to represent wall. No, 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 no. These are real intelligent walls. If you place ceiling mounted lamp on a wall, it will not stick because it is a ceiling mounted. So the elements are intelligent objects. They understand their function. Do you get it? So walls, beams, columns, and rebar, they carry metadata. They carry innate information. If you put a window with a glass, that glass has its thermal resistivity. It knows its U value. It contributes to energy calculation. Okay, so you can calculate your, let's say, your flow rate for the rooms. If you want to maybe calculate like do the energy model or the energy analysis and know the size of air conditioning to use. So like there's no guesswork. Okay, there's no guess there's no guesswork. So the elements in there are intelligent elements and they come with their own metadata. We also have multidisciplinary coordination. So we have architecture, structure, and MEP, and you can coordinate all of them at once. So you do what you call clash analysis, okay? And you see if, like, you see the relationship between the various elements, and you also know the way around that. Now, the data you have there is also rich, data-rich deliverable. So automated or automatic schedules. You also have material takeoff, clash reports, and analytical models. So if you detail your structural elements, I'm telling you this, you would not you would not do anything like uh burning schedule. No, the system knows that the quantity of rebars in the slab. It knows the quantity of rebars in the beams. It knows the quantity you have in your foundation, like your footing, in your columns. It. So there is a way we are going to show you. Okay, we call that um, filters. Okay, so use filters to actually filter the elements you want to put in there. Okay, and so it's so easy. It's so easy. Okay. At the beginning, you just have to put in a lot of concentration. As we always say, that Revit is actually a very jealous friend. It needs attention. It always requires attention. So we need you at that point to make sure the right thing is done. So that is actually it. But at this stage, let's compare Revit and AutoCAD when in terms of structural drafting. Okay. So when it comes to 2D versus 3D, AutoCAD structural drafting, you use vector lines and manual layering. So your rods, you layer them with specific color, line weight, and all those kind of stuff. It's manually done. With vector lines, like you use lines to represent everything. Rods, you use lines. Walls, you use lines. Beams, you use lines. Everything, you use lines. Your dimension is like manual dimension, one. You do linear dimension, then you do continuous dimension individually. In Revit, is different. In Revit, you have full 3D parametric model and automatic section views. Do you know in Revit architecture, you don't do things like front elevation, back elevation, sections, ground floor plan, those things? No, 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 no. By the time you finish with the model, it comes in automatic. Documentations are not things you do in Revit. Oh. No, 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 no. See, they say to error is human. So human being, don't bring your error. The system will automatically get those things done. So we teach you how to model. Some people, when they come for regular architecture, they say, "Oh, I want to do the 3D and not the 2D." I said, In Revit, the 2D and the 3D is in there. It's automatic. You do the 3D and the 2D comes in as a byproduct. Okay, the 2D comes in as a byproduct. So we don't have anything like, oh, I'm coming for 2D and 3D. This is not AutoCAD. Revit is BIM. BIM is building information modeling. Its system, its functionality is unique. Okay, so if you're comparing 2D and 3D, Revit structure is superior. Okay, compared with AutoCAD structural drafting. There's when it comes to coordination, you have separate CAD files and you do what we call external reference, XREF, okay, to check whether grid lines are in sync. And you also have to use other means, manual means, separate, on separate CAD files, which is always very cumbersome. But when it comes to coordination in Revit structure, you have one federated BIM file. You can do real-time collaboration. You can have one file and have multiple people working on the same file. So I can have my Revit architecture file, create a central file for that, and then share what we call work set, do collaboration. So maybe the structural engineer may be in Tamale. You give him a work set, you share that with him, and then he'll be modeling on the same file you're also working on. The mechanical engineer may be in France, the electrical may be in probably Ukraine, the interior designer may be from maybe South Africa, and they will all be working on that same file. Okay. Now, comparing with 2D and 3D, we know Revit Structure is superior. Comparing with coordination, where we can have like coordination and making sure that there is no errors, there are no clashes at the design stage, Revit is also getting it. Now, when it comes to revision, when there are changes to be done, um, you won't be a happy person if you are using CAD. You won't be a happy person because it's actually very, 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 very difficult to do that. Now, when it comes to BIM, it's simple because in BIM, everything you do, it updates automatically. There's something we call bi-directional associativity. It's a function of Revit or BIM. This big English. All it means is that what you do at one place updates automatically everywhere. You get it? So if you, let's say, let's say for Revit architecture, you delete a window from the plan, it will delete that window from the section, delete it from the elevation, delete it from the doors and window shadows, delete it from everywhere at the same time. You don't have to even go there unless you have trust issues. Some people they have trust issues. If even they go to the ATM and the money comes, they still want to stand there and count as if it doesn't reach, they can question the ATM. For them, they have trust issues. Apart from those people, look, if you delete something, if you delete a step in on the plan, forget it. It is deleted everywhere in the system. As we said earlier, it is one federated file, so one central file, and it's more like a digital twin, um, comparing that with the real thing that will be built. Okay, so in revision, you always take Revit structure. Revit structure or Revit is actually winning on that. When it comes to clash detection, or what we call interference checks. In Revit, you can run interference checks and see where there are clashes between the various disciplines, and then you effect the right changes. In AutoCAD, it's difficult. It's difficult. So usually, you can't even test for clashes unless you use third-party tools. Even though those third-party tools, because it's two-dimensional, it can check for clashes in 2 dimensions. But the real building you are building is 3 dimension. So it's always difficult. But in BIM, it's easy. When it comes to documentation, you have to do manual drafting and hatching. You get it. But in Revit, documentation is automated. It's automatic. Model your building. As I said earlier, doors and window shadows, for doors and window shadows, the shadows are there. You only call for it, and then it comes in table form. If you want it in a drafted form, it's also not difficult. Just some small steps. If you want your views, let's say your front elevation, those things, these are not things we do in Revit. No, 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 no. We don't do such stuff in Revit. Like you are done with your plan, you want to come and do your section. Just pick a section line, cut the section, and that's all. And then it will be there. The only thing Revit doesn't do for you is to probably list your let's say for a section for you to list that 50 by 150 timber rafter at 900 centers. Revit will not do that for you. That one is annotation. But to say that, oh, the section passed through here, I'll see the section through the wall. Here, I'm going to see the window or the door in elevation. Here, there is a wall. Those ones, the system will do it for you. So don't bring your human error into it. The system will do it for you perfectly. So now we can talk about the verdict now. Okay. Now, for me, looking at what we have, discussed so far, my verdict is that Revit is keen. Beam is keen. Okay, Beam is raining, and you actually have to get in with that. Okay, Beam is keen. Revit is keen. Okay, when you have two titans entering a ring, the one who hesitates loses. Okay, so in all cases, when you put Revit and CAD in a ring to fight, Revit will always reign supreme. And don't forget, everything you do in Beam, everything you do in Revit, all the works that will come, you can still export them to AutoCAD. And the beautiful thing is that when they are sorted to CAD, they come with their individual layers, as if you did the work in CAD. That is one beautiful stuff. So my key recommendation is this. Our choice is Revit Structure. And the key reasons is that when it comes to accuracy, the parametric model eliminates all manual dimension errors and manual work. Those you use your mind, those you use your punch calculator and all those stuff, they are eliminated. So there's accuracy. Two, speed. Look, let me break it down for you. If AutoCAD will take you about 14 days to deliver a work, Revit at the intermediate level, it will take you about 4 days to do that same work, 4 or 5 days at the intermediate level. If you have practiced and you're at the advanced level, it will take you about 3 days. If you have templates, it takes you 2 days. 14 days work of CAD. You can use 2 days to do it. If you are at the mastery level, less advanced level, and you also have templates, it will take you 2 days to do work that will take you 14 days to use CAD to do. So compare, look at your time, do that cost benefit analysis and see which direction to go. So if you're a civil engineering student, I'm giving you the hints, I'm giving you the apple. When you come into the industry, this is what the industry is actually using. So if you are learning how to use the drawing board, learn it. That is academic. Okay, get your grade, get your good grades. But when you come into the industry, nobody is using drawing board. When you come to the industry, those that are using the CAD, by the time you come, you have very few firms still using CAD. But a lot more people are seeing the CAD to be time consuming and they want faster turnaround time. So take note of that, okay? And then when it comes to collaboration, Revit is keen. Now, I'm going to talk about the three stages, or what we call the three pillars in Revit structure, okay? We are going to look at the three um, we are going to look at the three pillars of Revit structure. So don't forget my recommendation. Okay. Yeah. So you see, when the stakes are high, you need a winning tool. Okay. When the stakes are high, when you want to look at productivity, you want to look at profitability, you want to scale your business, you want to be fast. You know a lot of architects, they all give you structural drawings. You wanted to draw faster. I'll tell you, I will always recommend the a tool that is a winning tool. Okay, so you need a winning tool. You choose what is difficult. You've chosen you've chosen what is difficult all your days. Now is the time to choose tools that are smarter. Okay, that will help you get all these things done. So now the verdict is crystal clear. We all know that Revit wins. But now let's dig deep into the Revit now and look at the three pillars of Revit. Okay. So every masterpiece stands on three main supports. So a masterpiece like um, Revit or Revit Structure also hinges on these three main pillars. But for me, I believe if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first hour sharpening the axe. So card users will say, "Oh, for me, I'm fasting using card, and yeah, for me, I don't want change. I don't want it." Okay, that's you. But for me, if you give me 6 hours to cut a tree, I'll use my first 1 hour, not rushing, but sharpening my skills, sharpening my knife or sharpening my axe. And then when I come in now to cut the tree, it will be very effective. So the same way you're also having it here, the same way, the same way you have it here too. So as we give you the time, so now as we are introducing you to this, we are introducing you to a very effective tool which you can use. Okay. So the three pillars or the three main pillars that we want to look at is modeling. So in Revit, you create a true 3D structural element with intelligent families. And then then you can also instantly quantify materials and prepare an analytical model. So modeling. Now, this is what the architects require from you, not just the CAD drawings. When they give you a 3D structural, or let's say a 3D Revit architectural model, they expect you to also give them the structural model so they can fuse your structural model into theirs. Know the column position, know how your column sections, the sizes you have recommended, your beam depth, know how your beam depth affects the ceiling, know how your column eats into their living spaces. Do you get it? These are the things they want from your drawing, not the structural drawings. And those ones are for production. The architects, they are not interested in that. It's the quantity surveyor who is interested in knowing the amount of rebars in it. But the architect, they need the model. Revit solves that problem, and it's easy. You use real life elements. If you want to place column, pick column and place it. If you want beam, pick a beam, spin between one column and the other, and the beam is there. Size it the way you want. If you want to put slab, put a slab on it. You want staircase, draw the staircase. So here we use real models, real elemental models to get our work done. Okay. The next pillar is detailing. Every element you can detail the bars, and in Revit you will see the 3D bars in the elements. When we get to the stage where probably I have to open up a structural element and show you how it is, like the case study time. I'll show you one of them. That's if time allow us. I'll show you. So detailing is done. You pick every element and then you detail it. But from 2024 Revit, there are wonderful tools they have introduced. Look, it is just interesting. I checked the 2025 and they keep updating the tools. The 2026 is fantastic. Do you get it? So like get into it. Detailing is being made easy. And there are even automatic rebar placement tools, external plugins, which you can also do, like use to make your work very, very easy and faster. So when you spend time and make your detailing easy, documentation is there. Remember I told you that building plans, sections, and all those stuff, they are automatic. So all you need to do is just pick them by using your callouts and putting them on sheets and, and writing the client's name and going for your money. So that is it. So we know modeling, detailing, and then documentation. Okay. So that is it. So now we are going to look at some of the new tools they have introduced in Revit, which is actually going to make our work very, very easy. Okay. Which is actually going to make our work very, very easy. And look at one thing. The cutting edge tool of Revit we've spoken beautifully about just got sharper because you see, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Okay, just share innovation. It distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Now they have brought in very innovative tools in the Revit. 2024 was where we saw the need to start this whole course. In fact, we started teaching Revit structure about 5, 6 years ago, but we stopped So right from 2024, it was only those who come in for the modeling that we were teaching because it was difficult. It was too mechanical. It was too mechanical to be teaching it, and it was taking so much of our time. So we dropped it. We only concentrated on the architecture, the MEP, and all those stuff. 2023, I saw new tools being introduced, and that is what brought my mind back into it and started teaching the whole thing again. There's a tool they call propagate rebar. So we call that adaptive propagation of rebar. Here, if one, let's say a footing, okay, or foundation, one isolated footing is detailed, you can pick your propagation tool, select that one, and like match property, select all the footings, and it will fill them with rebars straight away, automatically, just like you do match property. You pick one and then you just select. The same way, this propagate rebar helps make our work easy. The same with beams. If you detail one beam and there are similar beams in there, you can just pick one and then say propagate, and it will propagate all the other similar beams. So you don't have to detail all of them. Propagate rebar does the work very, very easy for you. There's also parametric cranking or crank rebar and exact weight. So these are also new tools that they've also brought in. Then there are also enhanced rebar constraint editing. This one is even in the 2024, but they've actually enhanced it in the 2026. Now, yeah, we have global structural settings, where here you can at the beginning set a lot of the things, and then you can be using it as you move on. So these are also fantastic stuff which you can find in 2026. We also have automated rebar slicing tool, where here you can define your lap length once, then auto-generate the tags as they are, as they are spliced. Okay, across your model. So that is also one thing. If you know your slab rebars are 12 mm, everywhere you splice, it gives you that that automatic rebar lapping. Okay, and that makes your work very, very easy. Now, not only that, I said that wasn't enough. There are other plugins which, if you install, it comes into your Revit software, and you will be able to um, actually automate most of the things. So, for example, I can select all my footings or all my columns in the ground floor and then open one of the automation tools and then do my settings, and then it will automatically detail all of them. That's why I said if your mastery level is probably at advanced, and you know how to set templates, and you have some of these plugins, you even model faster, detail faster, and that's actually what we want. And don't forget that we are going to teach you these things. That's what you are signing up for. All the things we've spoken about, we're going to expose you to them. Okay, so when you make the decision, so when you make the decision to join this class, you've made the right decision. Okay, you've made the right decision. So go ahead, call Cab Royale, and let's move on. Now, there's also another thing. There's seamless software integration. My Revit structure, I can integrate that with Portal Structure for my analysis. I can also link it up with robot structure analysis. I can link it up with ETAP, Start Pro, and a lot of native tools or softwares. Okay, so software integration for analysis and all those stuff are seamless. So you don't have to say, oh, then I have to throw my Start Pro away or throw my Portal away. No. Whatever you do in Revit, you can bring them in Portal. Whatever you do in Portal, you can bring them in Revit. So it's seamless. So here, I will skip this one, and when we have time, we will come back to look at that. Okay, I wanted to demonstrate to you so you see how some of these things can be done, but we'll be doing that more in the class. And as I said, everything that we have spoken about, we are actually going to deliver on it when we get there. So conclusion. You have seen the crashing limit of 2D CAD versus the power of Revit structure. You've seen it. You know the mass use tools from 2023 to 2026 that streamlines modeling and detailing. You now understand how plugins, automation, and integration slash delivery time. You have a fair idea of the time you save when you use BIM or Revit Structure instead of using CAD for your drafting. I don't even want to mention board. I'm sure uh, the percentage of people using drawing board now are those in the outskirts, hinterlands, those who don't have access to some of these technologies. But majority of the people may be used to CAD. And I believe that at this point, you've seen clearly the champion, okay? The one that the industry is driving towards. So if it's decision time, I will say don't get stuck in this error reading draft. Leap into the future with Revit Structure and have your beam dominance. Okay. Every architect is moving into beam. And the number one beam tool they are using is Revit because Autodesk control about 67 to 70% of the beam market globally. So if you want to make a decision and you want to choose a software, I'm not saying go and pick ArchiCAD and all those stuff. No, pick Revit because Revit is the most widely used BIM tool. Okay, so you can join our master class, which we have, and um, this weekend. Okay, this weekend we are starting our first. We are starting our weekend class. We have a weekend class for those who are. I mean, for those who want to join. A link has been posted, which if you haven't registered, please click the form. We will call you. The phone number, I mean, our inquiry phone numbers are also like it has also been placed in the chats, and you can also check that on the screen. We also have the phone number here. Pick the number, call the team, and register for the course. um you actually get hands-on training with the latest Revit structure tool. You will see proven scripts, the tools. We are going to show you how to do everything. All that we have said, we are going to deliver on that. Okay. If we tell you that if you are using CAD and at mastery level, you are going instead of 14 days, you're going to use 4 days, it's true. When you come to the class, you will see it for yourself. Okay, you see it for yourself. I know some people who started last weekend with us. They are also on. I've seen some of them on the. In this webinar. I mean, they can bear witness to what I'm saying. Um, they started last Saturday and they started drawing already. They started modeling already. That's how interesting Cabril's training sessions are. Okay. So for the mode of training, we have the online instructor-led training. It's not like we have some recording somewhere and say go and watch it on your own. We have a platform that does that, but with the Cab Royale's training, it is instructor led online. So if let's say you are not in Accra or you are in a remote place and but you have access to internet, you have access to electricity, you can join us. Don't say that you are probably somewhere in Laura or Wa and so or Tamale and so you can't join and no. And sometimes it's amazing where people will say, "Oh, I'm not in Accra, so I can't join." But you find them doing masters online masters. Is the same thing. But if you have tasted our online class before, it's just like you have joined on Zoom here. Okay, you see the screen, and we take you through step by step, step by step. When you talk online, those in class they hear you. When those in class are even commenting, you will hear them. The instructor doesn't, in fact, the instructor is always seated, and you are the instructor's priority. Those who are joining online, you are the priority. Those in the room there, they can be assisted. But for you, you are their priority. And if you say they should go back, they will go back. So we respond to everybody. According to what we have actually, according to what we've promised to deliver. The preferred days, we have the weekdays. The weekdays, we have morning sessions, that is 10 to 1 or 10 to, yes, 10 to 1 in the weekdays. That one, you have to select that when you are registering for the course. The link is placed uh, uh, in the chat box. Okay, so check the link is placed. You can click on the link and then register, or copy the link and put it somewhere after the meeting. You can click and then register. We also have late afternoon. That's 3 to 5. Then we have the evening session, 5:30 to 7:30 or 6 to 8. Then we have the weekend. That is Saturday only. That one we are starting this Saturday. Look, come and join us. I'll be there for the Revit Structure class. I am the one handling it. So you can hold me by my words. And this Saturday, it is starting in the afternoon. The Revit Structure is starting in the afternoon. But for if you are fresh, you're a beginner, then you have to join the essential class. That one, we take you through everything you need to know, the fundamentals. We start with you. See, we are not considering you like some expert. We're starting with you from scratch. Okay. If you think you already know, like you already have an idea about Revit and you're already doing the architecture and you want to do the structures, then you can join the afternoon session because that side, we are not teaching you the fundamentals. We assume you know, but if you're a beginner and you want to start the journey of BIM, I entreat you to join us this Saturday, 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And you only meet on Saturdays. And by 8 Saturdays, you will not only be um, a professional in terms of the software usage, you also know how to do basic architectural modeling and also uh, advanced or professional level structural detailing. We are there to teach you all these things. Okay, you can call or WhatsApp the number on your screen. Everything we have promised, we are going to deliver. Those who are joining online, as I said, you are our priority, and we are going to assist you. Now, there may also be someone here who probably because the person joined with the Revit structure or probably saw the Revit structure advert, he has been brought here. Now, this is what we call the Quarter of Champions. These are the courses we are currently running in Cab Royal. I think the only thing that is excluded here is the Civil 3D. Okay, but aside that, we are doing the Revit architecture, we are doing Revit structure, we have MEP, we have MEP electrical, we have MEP plumbing, we have quantity takeoff, we have AutoCAD Civil 3D, we have Prota structure, and there are several other programs that are also available, which you can also come in. So uh, the link on that link, the course there is not only the Revit structure, there are several of them. So copy it, put it somewhere, and then choose the right courses that you want. We'll get back to you. We'll call you. Uh, until you register, we can't help you with your enrollment. But once you register, we'll call you and guide you to make your payment. If you want to pay, if you are joining online, then you have to, then Cab Royal will give you the payment details. You pay, and then we'll put you in our WhatsApp class, the WhatsApp group, which is for a class, and then you are in. When the time comes, the training manager will share the link with you. Make sure you are already online before the entire class starts. Definitely a call will come to you, and that will make your work very easy. Okay. So this is basically so these are the courses we have. We have the Revit structure, we have the Prota structure training, we have the Revit MEP plumbing, we have HVAC, we have quantity takeoff, we have architecture, and then also we have the electrical. So for additional resources for beginner Revit structure fundamentals and basic modeling skills. So when you come here, we teach you like we are teaching you architecture. We want you to understand like the fundamentals. Someone once said that if your fundamentals are weak, I won't continue. But in Revit, the detailing and the documentation will expose you if your fundamentals are weak. Okay. But here you have it done. So at the intermediate level, we're going to show you advanced detailing and documentation workflow. And then at the advanced, we're going to show you automation, customization, and then how you're going to integrate the mastery tools